Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay. When you move, I'll move. I will follow.
I'm Ryann Roth, and I have a bachelor's in social work. I work for Grandfather Home for Children as a case manager, foster care case manager. So Grandfather Home for Children has been around for 100 years this year, and they started out serving children in orphanages and have evolved over time to meet the needs of the child now before us. So we've evolved to serve children who've experienced abuse and neglect. Specifically in our region, it's my job to supervise and support foster parents and train foster parents. When I was in high school, I was laying on my bed one day and just had a vision from the Lord. I was awake, but was definitely taken to another place and was just given this vision of a sustainable community that housed the homeless and also gave them things to do and to work together and to live together. And so that brought me to Warren Wilson because it combined the ideas of work and service and also had an accredited social work program. So that's kind of how I ended up on the path I'm on.
Ryan's been with us for about a year, and I have supervised her for that year. And she just really approaches it with humility. I know that she takes a lot of prayer into this position. She's very compassionate. She treats everyone with dignity, including the hurting families that we serve, as well as the children, and is a real great support to our foster parents.
The beautiful thing that I've loved about working for Grandfather Home for Children is that they are a Christian agency. And so unlike a lot of places that I've worked, it's really open to sharing your faith, and we see it more as a ministry than just a paycheck from, And so I am blessed and honored really to go into people's homes and really intimately share their lives and their struggles with these kids that they have. These kids have experienced abuse and neglect, and so there's all these lies that they believe about adults and about themselves, and so they're constantly beating up against the foster parents, trying to prove those lies again and again, and it's the foster parents' job to prove them wrong.
I've worked with her as a case manager, a co-worker for around a year, and she has a great deal of empathy, works wonderfully with the foster parents, and loves all the children. And she's a great mom too. I've seen her in a mom capacity, and she always exhibits that spiritual entity with work and in her personal life, and does a really wonderful job all around.
There is always a need for foster parents. I think we have a huge number of foster parents in our own congregation, and really inspired by that and seeing the impact that church and a church community can make on a child, and just to support foster parents. You don't have to be a perfect parent to be a foster parent. None of us are. You just have to be willing to love unconditionally and to sacrifice a lot. But even if you're not prepared to be a foster parent, there's a lot of things that you can do to help, support foster parents, as well as, you can financially give. We have a grandparents club, so you can help pay for things like school pictures or prom and all summer camps, things that foster parents don't have the exorbitant, income to be able to provide for. One thing New Covenant does for me is the worship nights and the ministry within the service time. It really helps me to stay current on my journey so that I can go back out into the community and serve. One thing that I love about New Covenant is that it is multi-generational. However, I don't necessarily think that it's intergenerational. The kids stay back with the kids and the adults stay up with the adults. And if you don't have a reason to mingle, you don't. So I would love to see some ministry opportunities that bring the children into the sacred. So whether that's intergenerational prayer meetings, where that's the intention, is to sit 3 or 4 different generations down in a circle to pray together, or if it's family communion or family worship time, where you walk in knowing that the children are going to be noisy. Jesus is God, and so he had the capacity to die for the whole world, but he was also human. The human capacity for compassion and mercy taps out at like 2, and he didn't have capacity for the compassion for more than the one right before him. And so we can't end abuse or neglect, but we can look at the one that's right before us. And that's the one that God has put before us. And so we're one church and one body, and we're serving one God. So my ministry is all for one.